I'm Josh.
I'm Gabe.
From Balance Body Rehab. Today, Gabe and I want to talk to you about sitting. How we position ourselves throughout the day determines how our body adapts to those sitting postures. If we sit wrong, our body is going to change in a negative way and we can actually get injuries from that. So the biggest thing people need to learn is, number one, just how to generally sit, and we call it sitting on your sit bones. Gabe, can you turn and face that way? So Gabe demonstrated slump. So if Gabe slumps, you see how he's sitting back and his back is rounded, but he's going to feel weight more in his tail. You act like if you had a tail, you're sitting on your tail back here. And so that's not how we want to sit, because then the muscles back here get over elongated, and over time then your ligaments have to hold you up, and that'll create instabilities in your back or a disc injury. Okay, if the converse of that, or the opposite way people can sit, is if they sit too far up, and he's sitting way up, sticking his chest out. Now he's sitting too far forward, and that's going to add compression to his back as well. So what we want to do is try to sit on our sit bones. There are bones underneath your bottom that when you sit on a firm chair, you're going to feel them. And so when you sit all the way back, roll back, you're off those sit bones. And if you sit all the way forward and stick your chest out, then you're sitting in front of them. You want to try to find the pinnacle point of those sit bones and sit right on top of them. If you can stay there majority of the day, then you're going to have less aches and pains in your back and feel better overall. Try to get an equal weight distribution on both sides. Then that'd be ideal. Not everybody sits like that, and even if they try to sit like that, they still get some aches and pains because other parts of their body are causing them to be in an imbalance. One of the major things that people tend to do whenever they sit, Gabe, let's face the camera a little more, is when they sit, they tend to gravitate, have their right knee forward from their left knee so that their pelvis is facing off to the left a little bit. And so if your pelvis is facing off to the left a little bit, that causes your spine to twist in the opposite direction, and that can wrench up your spine and cause a lot of other imbalances. Also, people tend to sit so that they might be leaning onto their left buttock, and then their right hip bone raises up in the air, so it's imbalanced, and that causes them to have more tightness on their right side or be more stretched out on their left side. So that can cause some problems as well. We're going to show you today how to correct that oblique presentation. It's a correction of the universal pattern of sitting. So to do that, Gabe's going to try to, number one, he's going to sit on his sit bones. He's going to try to bring his left knee forward from the right knee just a little bit to change, so that the right knee is behind, left knee's forward. This knee stays tucked in just a little bit. And then the really particular thing we ask people to do is to try to sit back in the right quadrant. There you go. And so Gabe's sitting back on the back of his right buttock to get slightly behind that right sit bone. And then on the left sit bone, he's actually sitting on top of that sit bone, because that truly twists the pelvis in that way to get a stretch on the right lower back. So you're sitting to the back of the right side of the buttock there, not to the front. A lot of people tend to cross their legs when they sit, and that can bias them too. So try to keep your feet on the ground both feet on the ground as much as you can throughout the day. But if you're going to cross your legs, crossing your left leg over your right to help bias that positioning is going to be the preferable way to cross your legs so that you can get onto the back right side of the buttocks there. Gabe, am I missing anything as far as instruction there?
No.
Well, the other thing we could mention though is when you get your weight onto the back right side of the buttocks, we need to then counter the rib cage and bring the rib cage down on the left. That's very important, because I don't want you just to lean on the right side. I want you to get your weight on the back right side of the buttocks, but then drop the left rib cage down to help balance the weight distribution. Try to stay there as much as you can throughout the day. If you get aches and pains, take a break. So, all right, hope this helps.